contacted the list, but those people moving into action has been non-existent.
We're gonna talk
Okay.
about that. We're gonna talk about that.
I'm the list, so I do the 2-minute warning and I let them keep the
Mhm.
list. And then they're to get back to me with the top 10
Mhm.
names
Mhm.
and contact info, and I lose that.
You lose
You
it
don't-
as in you misplace it, or
No,
you
they
don't ever
don't
get
come
it?
back to me.
They never get it, okay.
We'll
Okay,
talk
good.
about that too, because there's a, actually, you know what, why don't we do this? Why don't we just address those things, because it's fresh on the mind, and then we can come back with that. Can we do that?
That's fine, we might run out of time, but I think those are the things we were planning on covering.
Right, we wanna talk
So-
to you guys more about, you know, how to do the sampling, and what rejection, objections, whatever you guys are falling into, and how to take the next level.
Mhm.
So, your question was, if you get the list, and then how do you get to the next person, basically, right? So Lydia, why don't you answer that?
Okay, so what we do, and you're saying, yeah, okay, that's good. Because it depends on whether they are a potential prospect for being a customer of the product or potential members. Makes a difference in how I address their people. But if so give me the scenario that you're looking for. That will help me a little bit.
Okay, I've got somebody who's lined up to potentially be a Got My Three customer
Mhm.
for a start. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had this with potential business partners as well too, but, so I've got my three, I've got their list, I've edified their list and they're going, oh yeah, wow, we've got a few great people,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Oh man, the pressure is on now. Wayne and Jerry are in the room.
Yeah.
Do you have to sit in our room?
Okay, so let me tell you what I've done,
Yeah.
because we've done this from all different angles, and so, you know, what we're gonna teach you is based more on our experience than what we learned from David, so it might seem slightly different. I mean, it is all the same, but it's the nuances that we've learned by actually doing.
Mhm.
And when I've come across that person that is a potential customer, potential member, what I've chosen to do is get that list from them and say, listen, I understand that, you know, where you're at right now, you're not able to move forward with this, but I would like to be able, if you would allow me to, you know, I have the samples purchased, I have the time and the expertise to start making some calls for you on this list and see if we can get you, you know, 3 people so you can get yours for free. And so what I do is I tell them that I will help them to get started. And I don't promise them that I'm gonna get them 3 though, guys. There's a difference between I'm committed to helping you make some calls and get you started and help you get your 3 versus I'm going to get you your 3. Because I don't want them to be upset that if somebody cancels or I don't ever get their 3, depending on what list they gave me, I may not get 3. So I'm not promising I'm gonna get them 3, I'm saying I'm gonna help you get started with this because there are people out here that are gonna be excited about this product, so I'm happy to get started for you. And so, I don't know if that's really answering your question,
Yeah.
but what I'll do then is I will start making calls to their people and how you know, this is where I thought it might be beneficial for you. You know, what am I saying to that person that I'm calling
for it.
out on their list? So if this is a customer who is trying to get their 3, what I try to get them to do, and what we have found is when they do a list of 20, 30, 40 names, they don't give you 20, 30, 40 phone numbers. Just doesn't happen. If you're sitting around waiting for that list to come with all the phone numbers, we have, I shouldn't say that. I did get one gal to do it, and
I
she
got
gave me
one too, actually.
189 names and numbers.
Wow.
That was the only one that ever did it. 189.
I
I'm still
had-
working through that list.
I had one with 77.
You did. But on average, I mean, typically they're not doing that. So what we found will work better is to break it down and say, listen, you know, you've given me 25 names here, or we've gone over 25 names. Who do you have the strongest relationship with? You know, and try to zero in on the 5s and the 4s, if you've done the identifiers, and say, okay, I'm gonna call these 5 people. Could you give me the phone numbers? You can email them to me, and give me a blurb, 1 sentence, doesn't have to be a complete sentence, just a thought about them. Tell me something about them that's personal to them. And so, you know, I'll get those things in an email, and then I call those 5 people, and I say, hey Lisa, this is Lydia Nasir. I know you don't know me, but we have a mutual friend. His name is, we have a mutual friend with Evan, and Evan has taken a product that I've introduced him to. It's a high impact wellness product. he is getting phenomenal results, and then I say what it is that he's experienced. Whether you've been on it a week, or 3 weeks, or a month, I find out from him what has he experienced, okay? And Evan's already noticing that his craving for sweets is disappearing. So he's really excited about it. Now, what he asked me to do was send you a sample of that, because he felt that because of blah, 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 whether it's you eat very clean, you are always looking for whole food, you know, I want something from Evan's list. If Evan gave me the list, I want something on there about you that I can personalize it, and I'm doing Evan a favor. We're a mutual friend. He asked me to send this to you because he's really excited about what it might do for you in regards to this. I have almost no no's because I don't feel like a cold marketer, right? I've made the warm connection because we have a mutual friend. I'm doing my mutual friend a favor.
I like that you're not doing on the spot, because that sometimes feels like pressure on the person that you're dealing with, that you actually ask them to send you those 5 names by email with that information
Yes.
about those people.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
you
good.
can do that.
Right.
We've tried that as well. We've done it both ways. But we have felt, especially for a customer, they're not real comfortable calling their people with you sitting right there. Now, if you're gonna do that for a member in training, that's a little bit different. You know, there's times when it is helpful to do it right in front of the member to model to the member, the potential member, how easy it is for me to get people to say yes, that they'll accept the sample. But we've done with the customers, I just tell them, let me help you get started. And so then what we do, the minute let's just say I called you, Lisa, and you said yes, I'm calling Evan back and I'm saying, you know, you gave me those 5 names, I've contacted all of them, I reached 3 of them, 2 of them I wasn't able to reach yet, and I've got 3 samples in the mail. This is so exciting. Give me some more names. Why don't you go through that list and give me 5 more names so I can keep sending out samples. And so Evan feels, because what I'm telling Evan is, Evan, this is a win-win situation. You love Body Balance, you want to stay on it, okay? You don't have the time to do what I do, but I have the time to do what I do. And so it's a win-win situation because you're helping me give me referrals, and I'm helping you get free product. So we can do this together. And Evan loves it, and the person that's receiving it has been very receptive.
The sampling.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and could I just ask, it's a little nuance to all of that, because this is another place that I've got a little bit uncertain about what to do in this moment, and it's with potential business partners and potential customers. Got the list, they've realised what a great list they've got, and sometimes they don't want me to ring any of those people because they say to me, they kind of think, well, I actually think I can call these people, I'll call them myself. So that's happened on the odd occasion as well too, and it's been a bit hard to know how to, do I just roll with that, or do I?
Is that a potential member or a potential customer?
I have it with both actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I tell them, because I've had that with me as well, do you understand what she's saying?
Yeah.
Okay, they want to do it,
Yeah.
and I say that is perfectly fine. You know, if you're comfortable doing that, that's perfectly fine. But if you run into snags and you feel like it's not going well, please let me help you, because I'm accustomed to answering their questions. I'm accustomed to, you know, the questions that are going to come up that you may not find you're equipped to do. So if it's not going well, let's touch base in a couple days and see how it's going for you. And I've had people try it and not have success, and then they relinquish it to me.
Right.
You know, so stay in touch with them, find out how it's going,
Yep.
and then offer again. You know, I'm not coming across pushy. I'm offering them a service, and it's a win-win situation for them.
And you don't want to put somebody that wants to go on a stop.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to
Yeah,
break them. So
exactly.
let them
Yeah.
go.
Let 'em try.
And let them try. So that's
Yeah.
very good. Now, Evan, you had a question. What was your question?
Just once you've gotten the list,
Right.
and you're starting to contact those people, and there it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
You know, you maybe have sent out a sample or.
Very good question. Very good question. So what he's saying is, you know what? Once I have the list, I call the people, I send out the samples, but then it's basically more the follow-up part. What we have found out is that with the sampling, it takes a whole lot more following up. A whole lot more following up. It's like multiple times, like 7, 8, 10, 12 times of following up. So just keep at it. Keep at it. And you know, somebody asked me one time, he says, you know what, but at what point do you stop calling them? My answer is this: once I have a yes or no answer. Okay? And what I do is, you know, I basically, when I follow up, and then, you know, it's funny because, you know, they receive the samples, they love the samples, whatever, but now I'm trying to follow up, but they're not there. trying again. When I follow up, I always leave a message, and it's gonna be simple like this. Hey, Evan, this is Robert again with LifeForce, about body balance. I really wanna get your opinion about this product. I wanna get your input. So if you don't mind giving me a call back, here's my number, blah, blah, blah. And if I don't hear from you, I will try you again in a couple of days. I always finish up that way. They know I'm gonna call them again. So I'm gonna call maybe twice a week, once a week, whatever it is. But in regards to your question, it takes more time to follow up. And it's amazing, after like following up with 5, 6, 7 times, even though you've never met this individual, they actually become very friendly. Like for example, there's a couple of them that I call, and they say, oh Robert, I still forgot, I'm so sorry, I still haven't done it. Oh, it's fine. Don't make him feel bad. It's fine, life is busy, but do you think you're gonna get to it tomorrow morning if you have it in the fridge already for the last 3 weeks? Do you think you're gonna?
He does get people to laugh like that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't work for me, but.
Don't make him feel bad or anything, just be there. Because I tell you what, I had quite a few people that it took me almost 5, 6 weeks of follow-up, and then they signed up. But if I had to give up after the second call or third call, it would have not happened. Now this is more of a follow-up. But this sampling thing, guys, absolutely works. And it's amazing. Let me just give you guys a real quick thing. I got a list from a lady from 78 people. It took me an hour and a half to contact those 78 people. Now watch. Out of the 70 people, obviously I didn't get a hold of everybody, right? But it took me an hour and a half to go through 78 phone calls. I connected with about 16 people. I connected actually. 3 of them said no. 13 of them said yes, and I sent out 13 samples the same day. So basically what I just did is I did 13 exposures in an hour and a half, more or less. And that's huge. So the sampling absolutely works. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about, how to talk to the people. Now Lydia was talking about, how she invites. When I talk to somebody, it's only about 2 minutes long. It's very, very short. Now, again, everybody has their own style. Don't become Lydia, don't become Robert, definitely don't become Wayne. But, no, I had to wake you up right now, no. But my thing is very simple. Hey, Evan, this is Robert. I know you do not know me. We have a mutual friend, Steve, and he's been on this product that he absolutely loves, and he thought that you might be interested too. All I want to do is see if I can get permission to send you some samples of this product, just for you to try out. Oh, sure, okay, great. Where do you want me to mail it to? And then I'll follow up. You know what I want you to do? Take the product, look at the information that I'm gonna send you, and then I will call you next week and follow up. I'm usually on and off within about 2-3 minutes of the call. So I'm not spending a half an hour on the phone talking about the product and telling them what it is and what's not and blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing all that, you know what I mean? I may say something like, hey, it's a company that's been around for 28 years, has a phenomenal product, it's a combination between sea vegetables and aloe vera. And all I wanna do is basically get your permission to send you some samples. Once I get the permission, then I send it out and then I follow up. So again, don't make it mine, make it your own, however you choose to basically converse or communicate, but it doesn't have to be a half an hour call with that prospect.
And may I add to that, when they start asking questions about the product, sometimes they'll say, well, can you just tell me a little bit about it? And then I say, yeah, it's a high impact liquid nutritional. It's been on the market for 28 years. It's made of 9 different sea vegetables and aloe vera. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you some literature that you can take a look at. And then, do you have access to the internet? Yes? Okay, great. There's a 10-minute video clip that will really tell you the uniqueness of this product. So what I'd like you to do, I kind of make a joke of it. I say, I can sit here and rattle on for 10 minutes, but trust me, the video is more interesting than I am. So why don't you take a look at that video, and then we'll chat next, and then I do the 3 commitments. I get the date that we're gonna connect, and I make an appointment on the book. But I don't sit there, I could tell them everything on that video. I really could. I could probably tell them more. But I want to make this simple and duplicable so that they, even if they down the road think about doing this as a business, if I'm sitting there saying all this to myself, if I'm spatting all this stuff off, just rattling it off, all this knowledge, what are they thinking?
I'll never.
There's no way I could ever do that. I mean, that was way too hard. But if all I'm doing is pointing you, I'm sending you a sample and I'm sending you to a website, and the website's gonna answer most of your questions. And then when we follow up, I want to find out what intrigued you the most about what you viewed and what you tasted. So I'm really excited to follow up with you next Tuesday. So I don't answer all their questions. And as far as Evan, when you say it's not going anywhere, it takes so much longer. Just to reiterate what Robert said, the follow up they're not there at Tuesday at 2 when they said they were gonna be, and then you reschedule, and then they're not there again, or they didn't take it, or they didn't watch the video, or, oh, it's been sitting in the fridge 2 days, I'm so sorry, I didn't get to it. I just redo the 3 commitments
Yep.
again. Can you get to it today? Do you think you can watch it today? Yes, great, let's talk tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So, and there's many times that it is literally 4, 5, 6, and sometimes they'll say, you know what, especially in the summer, I got this a lot. Oh, we're going on vacation, we're gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and I got the kids and blah, 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 and they're gone, and I go, that's fine, I get it, life is hectic. Listen, this sounds like this is gonna take you through the end of August. How about if I follow up with you in September? Yeah, oh, that's it, yeah, that feels so much better. Great, I'll call you in September, I'll call you the first week of September, and in the meantime, sample it and watch that video, and then we'll talk in September. So you have to work with where people are at in their lives. But it's just then in September, follow up with them.
So it's the video, and what piece of material do you think of?
We send the body balance brochure that
Right.
Life Force makes. We send a data sheet,
Product.
product data sheet, and we send sometimes my story. Depends on if the person was referred because of the product. We send a cover letter that reiterates the 3 commitments. Okay, so in the cover letter, we say, put it in the fridge and drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And then we say, watch this video at this, and we actually put a little blurb in there. If it's a customer that we've led with the product, we actually say, when you enter this site, there will be a video on autoplay that explains how a home-based business that's available, if that would be of interest to you, but if that's not of interest to you, just click past that to the product button, and you'll learn about this amazing product. And then number 3, I will follow up with you, and then I put in again, in bold, what our appointment time was. And then that's the cover letter that goes on top of everything. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's how we do it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to add one thing. With the people who you have shown Life Force to, and you've done the 2-minute warning, but they're still in transition mode. They haven't made a decision, but they've given you this list.
Yes.
That's where I'm finding this hiccup. Because they haven't really committed, they haven't gotten started, not on the product. So that whole testimonial
Oh,
piece.
yes. We
I
have
love
fun
that.
with those
But
people.
I have quite a few of them that they have not done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, my invitation when I call them is
Uh-huh.
very simple. Evan, this is Robert, you don't know me, blah, blah, blah. Steve asked me to give you a call. He's looking into this product that he's very, very excited about, but he also knows that you understand a lot about wellness or whatever, if it's a product-driven one, and he wanted you to look at it as well. So all I want to do is basically send you some information. If it's about the business, Evan is looking into this business, okay, he hasn't really made a decision yet, but he really respects you, and what he wants you to do is also look at this business because it's so fantastic, and basically get your opinion in regards to the two. So you can totally, it's just basically wording it a little bit differently,
Mhm.
but you can get those people. Actually, it makes them feel good because it's almost like Evan is looking out, finding out if you are interested or not, product or business-wise themselves.
Is that what
So
you're
you
talking
can-
about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Exactly. So that's exactly what you want to say. Hey, you know what? He's looking at it. He's very excited about it, but he wants you to know about it as well. Very
Mhm.
simple. Very, very simple.
Yeah, and then so what has happened is we've gotten that, and
Oh,
we've
yeah.
made these calls to this person's list, and this person hasn't even ordered yet,
Mhm.
okay? So I call her back, hey Deb, I've got one of your samples, she's ready to place an order. So this would count toward one of your 3. If you place a qualifying order, this one would count toward one of your 3. We only have to get 2 more, and your product's free. So did you wanna place an order? They don't wanna miss out on that one,
Mhm.
right? So
They're
we've
lost.
gotten
Oh, yeah.
people
Yeah, oh,
to
yeah.
come back and order
I got it.
after we've gotten some response. And these people, you can segue them into the business sometimes. There's a gal who was a premier jewelry lady. She gave me a bunch of leads, and I only got them in segments. I didn't get a big lead list, but she would send me 3 or 4 at a time. She'd text them to me, and I would call the people to make sure they were gonna take it. She asked me to call you, I just wanna make sure you're interested. And then, after she got 2, and some people under her are getting their 1 or 2 already, because I keep working down the lead list. And she said, I want to learn how to do this as a business, because if there's some income that I can make here, I'd be interested in that. She doesn't even have her 3 yet, but she's already thinking ahead, because she
Oh, yeah.
sees that it's really not that complicated. So you can actually turn these people into business people potentially as well.
Any other questions in regards to sampling? Yes.
You had a list of 77, you
Yeah.
called them, and you got 16
Yeah.
to answer. What did you do with the rest?
Oh, I tried. Okay, what I
Did you
do
leave
is
a
this.
message then?
Good question. So if I call them once, I don't leave a message. Twice, I don't leave a message. The third time, now I'm gonna leave a message. And the message is almost like my invitation again. Sue, you don't know me, but your name was given to me by Evan, and he asked me to give you a call. The reason why I'm calling you is she's on a product, she's very excited about it, wanted to get in touch with you. All I need is basically your mailing address to mail it to you. I would say, you know what, this number that I just called you on is actually my cell phone, you can even text it to me, and I will it's basically the same invitation, but now I'm leaving my invitation on the answering machine. So the first 2 times, personally for me, you might do it more or less, it doesn't matter. But for me, 2 times I'm gonna try during the day and one evening. Okay, I'm gonna try, I mean, I'm not gonna do like, call them at 10 o'clock twice in the morning, maybe they might be at work, right? But there's some people that don't work during the day. So I call them during the day or in the evening. If I don't reach them, then I go into the message. That's what I do.
I tried 4 times before I leave a message, so you
The one
see, it's
thing-
up
yeah,
to
it's
you
different.
how many times you wanna call.
The one thing that I want to point out to you guys is this, how important and crucial the part is that when Evan is giving me this list and I get somebody to be sampling. I have this one girl, she gave me a list of about 3 or 4 people, okay? So I called those 3 or 4 people, I think I sent out the 3 or 4 samples and I let her know right away. I texted her, I said, hey Melanie, those 4 samples are out already, they seem to be very interested. Oh, she said, great, here's 2 more people. Got the 2 people, called those 2 people, one of them got a sample. Hey Melanie, just wanted to let you know, I called those 2 people, one of them I got a hold of, it's one of them is getting the samples. Melanie, that's basically my text to her, right? Send it to her, she texts me back within 10 minutes. Hey Robert, why don't you call these 3 people too? So what I'm saying here is that follow-up is huge. That communication, that hey, even though nothing has happened, right? All we're
samples
doing
have
right
been
now
sent
is
out.
sampling and being sent out. We don't have an interest, we don't have a sign-up, we don't have nothing at this point. But just that excitement has generated excitement in her to send me more names. I mean, this one
And
day
she ordered too.
Oh yeah,
She
and
ended up
she
ordering
ordered
her own
she
because
ordered
we
her own
got.
product. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, communicate with the individual that you gave the list to, and let them know exactly what you have done. Okay? I called the 5. I reached 3 of them. 2 samples are being mailed out. I'm so excited about this, and see what happens with that. Okay? What else in regards to sampling?
Was there another
Was there another
question?
question
One
for
of you,
sampling?
somebody else had a question and I forget what it was.
It was me about, how I lose the people, they don't get back with me with the 10 names from the.
So they never give you the phone number?
Right.
Okay, maybe break it down to 2 or 3. Just give me, 2 or 3 people, and I'll put them samples in the mail. It hurts nothing, it's my time. I've already invested in these samples. I've got the time. I'm happy to do it for you because I really want you to get this product. I want you to be able to afford it. I want you to be able to stay on it. So let me do that for you. When you're showing them that you are doing them an act of service and you're looking out for them, what is there not to, if someone's going to go to work for me and get me free product, why would I say no to that? And every now and then, I don't get this so much anymore, but in the beginning, I had some people kind of resistant to give me the list. I think it's when I was asking for the whole list, I had a little bit more resistance. And I know one gal said, it was one of the gals that wanted to do it herself. And she said, I just don't want my friends to feel like they're being pushed into something. I said, well, let me ask you something honestly. Have you felt like I've pushed you at all? She said, well, no. I said, well, that's exactly how I would treat your people. I'm going to treat them the same way. If I feel any pushback at all, I'm not going to force them to take a sample they're not interested in. I will treat them with the same respect I've treated you. So then she felt comfortable. I just called her on it because that's what she was really wondering. She wanted to know, whether consciously or unconsciously, she wanted to know, how are you going to treat my people? I don't want my people to feel like you're being a pushy salesperson.
Right.
And if you're, I know that I do not come across as a telemarketer on the phone because I'm very warm, I'm very friendly. I pull in that other person that we know. I'm doing this person, this friend a favor by sending this to you. I'd be happy to, answer any questions you might have, and we'll see if it's a fit for you or not. And that's what the business or the product. I do it the same way. When it's a business lead, I just say, the beauty of our business is it's so simple. We have this amazing wellness product that we market, and it's so simple to build this business because all we do is send out samples of our amazing product. So what I'd like to do to get you started is to just send you a sample of that so you can see how simple our business is. And then I go through the 3 commitments again. And then with those people, I just send them to the link that's right on wildlifeforce.com, and it's already on autoplay.
When you're calling
So-
people off of that list that you're getting, and you're basically saying that you have a mutual friend and she's asking you or he's asking you to call, I like to say that 98% of the time, it's always a positive response. As soon as I say, yeah, we have a mutual friend, Evan, for example, and the daughter says, oh yeah, how is Evan doing? Oh yeah, he's doing great, we just had coffee last week, whatever. It's right away there's a connection there. So it absolutely works when you pull that in, like Lydia says, just pulling it in. And I know Lydia was saying before, in regards to your question, why don't you just email me 5 of them? What you can do, what I do is, when I'm on the phone with him or her, I say, hey, listen, why don't you just give me 5 phone numbers right now? The top people that you have here, give me 5 phone numbers right now over the phone. I'll jot them down real quick and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll call and get their addresses for them. If you just give me their phone numbers, I'll call and get the address, because I want to make sure they really want it anyway. I'm not going to send it to them if they're really not interested. And it goes very well. And with the business, I know one of the questions that's come up with our team a lot is, well, if you get a list from somebody who's a potential customer, when I tell them to give me a blurb about each person, I say to them, I know this may not be a fit for you right now to do this as an income generating stream, but if any of the people you're giving me on your list would be good candidates for that, if they're the type that are entrepreneurial or they're looking for extra income, please make a note of that to me, because I will offer that to them as well and see if there's interest. So when I'm calling those people, okay, now she wrote a blurb, this person's an entrepreneur, okay? So Vivian gives me a list, and on that list is a gal named Ann. So I'm calling Ann and I'm saying, hey, we have a mutual friend, Vivian. She's very excited about what this product's gonna be able to do for her family. And not only was she thinking the product might excite you because of some of the health challenges you've had, but she also mentioned that you're a very entrepreneurial person, that you own 4 businesses, and she thought, that this might be of interest to you to check out as another stream of income. So even though Vivian is a customer only, I still invited Ann because I told her what Vivian said about you. Vivian says you're a really sharp cookie and that you're very entrepreneurial. So I compliment Ann on what Vivian said about her. Do you see why? I think, to me, I feel like the reason that it works so well is because I get that line. I get that line from the person that gave me the list that personalizes it. Like, I'm not just calling you cold called. It's Vivian wants me to call you because, and what did Vivian tell me about you? That's the reason I'm calling you. And I feel like that has made it much easier to get them to say yes.
So when I get a list, like for example, I know there's 77, there's half of them are product, half of them maybe business. All I need to know is it a business approach or is it, for example, a product approach? And if I know a little bit more about the individual, I can personalize it, and that's exactly what she's saying. So the sampling to me is, I love sitting in my home office in my pajamas and making calls and doing business. How many of you guys are enjoying that?
Yep.
Not me sitting in my pajamas, I'm just saying. But I'm serious, it's amazing what you can accomplish in a day's time, just a couple of hours, how many people you can actually go out there and basically show it. So we're gonna go ahead and talk now about.
We will, but are we touching on what you guys need?
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything
Any
we're
other
missing?
questions?
I
Let's
do
take
have a question. Lydia, would you run over again what you send to the people when you send the samples? You send the
Sure.
body balance brochure,
Uh-huh.
the data sheet.
The data sheet.
And what else?
And then I put a cover letter in there.
Okay.
And again, I reiterate in the cover letter, the first paragraph, Evan's really, okay, there was one gal, I guess I can say this. There's one gal that she got rid of hot flashes within 30 days. I mean, she was like talking, she was like, you gotta call this girlfriend and this girlfriend and this girlfriend. So, I put that in the cover, I mentioned it on the phone when I talked to them, and I put it in the cover letter again. Amy is so excited because it got rid of her hot flashes within less than a month. And, she's excited because she knows that you struggle with that. So, I just put that right in the top, and then I went into the 3 commitments, and I'm gonna call you back. So the cover letter, I think, is really important to just kind of reiterate what you've already done on the phone.
And the cover letter, you state what the person giving you the name, what they've experienced.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you?
Why they're excited.
This may not be important, but do you handwrite it?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I have too many going out in a day. It would cause carpal tunnel if I was going to do that, probably. But no. So I do have a form letter, and then I just change the personal name and the date and the personal paragraph at the top, and then I change the follow-up times. But everything else remains the same, so I don't have to go in there and rewrite it every time. But I also put. Do you guys have that veggie sheet that was made a couple years ago? It's not really a company. I don't know who even made it, but it's a veggie sheet that shows the 9 vegetables. I also send that along.
Where do we get that from?
Yeah.
I don't know where I got it. It's in my, I got it years ago. And, your upline probably has it. So I send that along because I think pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Does it have a little girl holding a
No,
little?
no.
It's
no
just
girly
a
stuff.
single 8.5 by 13, and it's got a picture of 9 sea vegetables, aloe
Yeah.
vera,
It's 9 squares.
stevia, and honey has, and it's just a visual, because I feel like it adds value to, wow, I'm drinking these many vegetables. I just think those pictures are really add to.
Scott, you have a
Yeah,
question?
if you Google Life
So I
Force
sent
Vault,
that.
you find it.
Is that where it is?
I think if you Google, it's called the Life Force Vault, VAULT.
Okay.
I think you'll find it there.
I have it in my computer.
Yeah,
So I send
have
that
to.
with the data sheet and a cover letter and a body balance brochure.
And
That's
the
my
sample.
standard package.
And a sample.
Yeah.
You say where that is again?
Life Force Vault. Sir,
I think Lydia just answered it, but that sounds like it's a very large package you're sending out. How big does it end up being?
okay, good question.
Liquid or
We-
powder samples?
No, liquid.
Liquid, for
We
sure.
totally switched to liquid because there's no question in comparison between the liquid and the powder. So what we did is we basically played around with it. We came up with this envelope, which is, what do you call it?
It's a padded envelope.
It's a padded envelope. So padded envelope sample, everything mailed out is about $2.63.
263 with post.
263.
263.
263.
And how many
Just one sample.
One
We
sample.
send one
One
sample.
sample.
You can send
Unless
one
it's
or-
a husband and wife, then I'll
Yeah.
send maybe 2. If I
And what's
can.
it cost to put a second sample in there?
Second sample goes out to about $3.80, I think, sample. So I mean, to me, it's worth it. I'd much rather do that than driving across town at $5 a gallon and doing one appointment. No,
Yeah.
if you really look at it,
It's
you
much
see,
more time
in an
and
hour and a
effort.
half, I make, for example, it says 78 calls. I have 13 samples mailed out in an hour and a half. Well, if I would be doing one presentation driving across town,
Yeah.
it would be, half an hour driving, an hour over there, half an hour coming back. That's only, 2.5, 3 hours ordeal. This way, I did 13 exposures, 13 of them in only an hour and a half, 2-hour time. Yes.
And can I mention that everybody loves to get a package?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, they love
absolutely.
samples.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
love
yeah.
samples.
Yep.
So
And
it
the
is
samples are
very
great.
63 cents plus a padded envelope, because I thought about doing this, but I'm
The
thinking
padded
it's
envelope,
cost prohibitive, but you guys are
I bought
saying,
No,
250
we bought
padded
250.
envelope for $39.
It's a big box. but,
Uline, Uline. You guys know Uline.com? Just get on it. They have it right
15
there.
cents a piece, I think it comes to,
Okay.
for the
I want
padded.
to switch over.
Yeah, we
real
want
quick.
to tell you about another strategy that Robert developed that we absolutely love. It's working really well.
Listen, this is really cool.
I'll kind of set it up for him and then you can go through it. You know the power broker strategy that David taught us? Did anyone try that? We did. We went out, we met with a lot of people that we consider power brokers. They loved the idea. They loved the idea of us doing this for them and they stay anonymous. But man, we couldn't get them to cough over that $1,500 check. It was like, what is going on? And we realized that they're just broke at a bigger level. I mean, they're broke too. And they know their friends are broke. And so we were like, well, this obviously they like the concept. It's when it's time to write out the check that they're stalling. And so Robert kind of developed this strategy. We call it the small business owner strategy.
It's a little bit, basically taking the power broker and just adjusting a little bit differently. So there's 2 ways to do this, okay? The one way is basically I'm having a business presentation, and what I do is this. I have Evan purchase the kit. Evan gives me the samples. Evan gives me the list of names, and I'll do all the work.
He's a small business owner.
He's a small business owner. He doesn't have the time to go out and do this business and send out samples or whatever it is. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't have no desire. But he sees the business opportunity. He sees the potential. So the partnership that is here is this, that he purchased the kit. He purchased the samples. He gives me the samples. He gives me the list. Now, guess what? When he purchased the kit, he's very eager with giving me a list because he just has invested himself, say basically almost $500, right? So there's a huge difference for him to basically get involved. So he purchases the kit, I have the list, and I'll do all the work for him. Same thing again, I sample those people. Now what I'm paying here is basically what I'm paying is for the postage and my brochures, right? But I'd rather pay that than paying for a kit myself if I have somebody that is investing it, right?
Or cold leads.
Or cold leads, okay? Then what I did, I took it a little bit further. And how many of you guys would like to have other people sampling for you?
Ooh, yeah.
Now listen to this one. I love this one. So let's just say any kind of service business, be it a massage therapist, chiropractor, a salon, a dentist, whatever. A business where people walking in and out of the building, right? So what I do here is this. Let's just say Evan is a superb hairstylist, okay? And he has his own salon, okay? So the approach here is this. Evan, you purchased this kit. I'm gonna train your receptionist. I want everybody that walks in and out here to walk out with a sample bottle and a body balance brochure. Okay? And at the end of the day, you will tell them, hey, if you're looking into this product, we're very excited, here's a sample, and somebody will follow up with you.